First of all, thanks for everybody that's tuning in that normally doesn't tune in. So I'll try to keep this as brief as I possibly can. But also, I think, I don't know, my symptoms have gotten really bad the last few days. I feel like I'm maybe relapsing again or something. So I'm having a hard time finding words, which was a issue before, and it's just pretty bad. So anyhow, I know we don't probably have to cover the workout that much for today. I mean, we just recently did the totals, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about how to approach it just from a number of different perspectives. So quick story, it's been a while since we did story time with Michael, but in the early days, one of the first things in 2007, after I did my first CrossFit workout, one of the things that I had to do is I had to go look up floor wipers, because I wasn't sure if I had done them right, or I was like, well, what are these? I had to find out as soon as possible what those were. And as soon as I looked those up, first of all, I realized that there weren't a lot of videos to help out people looking for CrossFit type endeavors, but the videos that were out there were pretty, sort of like you found somebody kind of like in a fight club. Like, we don't talk about it, but when you see somebody and you're like, I recognize that shirt, or the expression on that shirt, and most others don't. Anyhow, so there was a lot of info like that floating around out there, and some of the info that I found was how to make certain equipment. Like there weren't a lot of suppliers. Rogue didn't even exist yet, I don't think. So there weren't a lot of suppliers to get a lot of the material, or a lot of the equipment rather, that we needed. So there were gyms. I remember finding this one video, and I look back on it every now and again. It's like the most homemade equipment in any gym. And I started looking how to make like a medicine ball. I really wanted a medicine ball. There were a lot of like med ball cleans, wall ball shots, and slam balls programmed. So I was like, I need one. I need a 20 pounder, because the Y that I worked out at only had like a 10, I think. And we made use of it, but I wanted a 20, and they were pretty expensive. So I found a video how to make one out of a basketball. If you fill a basketball almost all the way with sand, it's going to be about 20 to 21 pounds. And then you could patch it, or you could just duct tape the heck out of it. So I made one. I tried both patching it and just wrapped an entire roll of duct tape around it. And it worked. It worked great. Never had any breaks or leaks. Then I opened the affiliate. I found, how to make rings, how to make, this, that, and the other. I made one that says how to make a speed rope, because believe it or not, even though you can find those at the dollar store these days, they didn't even really exist that much. And if they did exist, they were like $30, $40 for a speed rope. So I was like, I'm going to figure out how to make one of these, and I did. But that's neither here nor there. The thing is when I opened the affiliate, I was also trying to find ways to make some equipment, and I was like, I've made these before. I'll make slam balls, medicine balls, and we can use those. And what I found out really quickly is that they're great when they're getting used for like one athlete, for just one workout here and there that actually uses said piece of equipment. So in this case, a slam ball or a medicine ball. But when it's used over and over and over and over and over again in one class, so if we're doing, something that has potentially 100 slam balls or something like that in a workout, that's 100 slams that the ball is going to take per class, potentially 6 or 7 times a day. So that's 700 slams in one day. So if I had done that workout once in my garage or wherever, and then did another workout 2 months later that has slam balls in it, and 50 to 100 slam balls again, and then another one 2 months after that, I'd be 6 months in and only maybe halfway to the amount of punishment that one would have taken in one day of affiliate programming. All this to say that the barbell policy, while it is, important that we train, controlling the bar down for a number of different reasons, no other analogy or story could I pull from better than that particular instance, which, I think happened back in 2010 or 11 with the slam balls. So going into today's workout, certainly I don't want anybody thinking that if they're going to approach, say a max back squat or max overhead squat or any max lift for that matter, that there's ever an emphasis on setting down a bar that's unsafe to set down. What it is if we can control all the weights up to a certain point, it's not going to be that detrimental for the equipment or the floors to experience a drop here or there. What does become problematic is when it happens over and over and over again to the point where we're strategizing a workout to do singles and we're doing 50 or 60 power cleans as singles or clean and jerks as singles, and we're dropping 50 reps per workout 7 times a day, 350 drops in one day, potentially on one barbell, one set of weights, and the floor. So another example that I've always given, and I've said this for years, is that the loading of a deadlift particularly has a very intense and immense effect on the central nervous system. You go from an unloaded position to a loaded position through an effort that taxes said system pretty greatly, and you're at kind of max capacity when you're at the top of the deadlift. Dropping a deadlift is about as punishing on you as anything can be, short of missing a lift, but it does no justice for the lift that you just were successful at to drop it from the top. It's something that I've wished I could break athletes from doing for a long time for a number of different reasons. First of all, it's not allowed in meets. So if you were doing a powerlifting meet or a lifting meet, you're not allowed to drop a bar from the top. You would get a red light immediately for dropping a bar from the top. Second, obviously the wear and tear on the equipment and the floors, but also you go from a locked out position to a locked out max effort loaded position, 0 to 100, or 100 right back, slamming on the brakes down to 0. It's a recipe for disaster and blacking out. Now, also, not that it's impossible to potentially, perform a deadlift and not get lightheaded, whether you're standing at, extension or you were to do a controlled set down of the barbell. But if you were to let go of the barbell from the top and potentially, get lightheaded or black out, you would be going from a fully extended position. If you're 6 feet tall, that means your head is 6 feet off the floor, versus, controlling the bar back down. Then if that happened, you would be a lot closer to the floor. These are all just, trying to mitigate some of the things that sort of come along with the potential to happen here. So these are things that we're trying to, the wear and tear on the floor, certainly, but also it's always a safety issue. Dropping barbells, you drop a barbell and it could skip across the floor and skip into your legs or others. You could, right down to unloading bars. We've seen, smaller plates get forgotten and then slid out, or if they get sandwiched between two plates, they get forgotten and then you slide the plates off and then that plate, falls onto your foot. There's a lot of things. So there are some safety things that we're always trying to, promote good safety habits. But with that being said, dropping a barbell or Missing a lift, certainly, it's never, don't try to save a barbell. But there is a time and a place for, a barbell to hit the deck. And certainly on a day like today, where we're doing, maybe a 1 rep max power clean, there's going to be the potential for a missed rep or a successful rep that we're not comfortable setting down, in which case we might expect to hear a barbell hit the floor or two. That said, I've also been to gyms that were in the third story of a high-rise in New York City, and they had people snatching 300 pounds, but they weren't allowed to drop it. So what they did is they had some crash pads. We have a lot of gymnastics pads. We have 4 of those, the white archery targets that we used on the jerk boxes, and we have jerk boxes. Just the top layer of the jerk boxes could be used to sort of absorb, or the archery targets or the gymnastics mats could be used to absorb loads that you didn't want to drop on the floor. It doesn't mean you have to pull off of those, but if you think back to when we were doing a lot of the sauce with the jerk boxes, some would get under it and have to back out of the boxes so that they could do a dip drive for, maybe they were doing a jerk or something. But wouldn't back out so far that they couldn't then just sort of drop the bar, like let the arms fall forward to drop the bar onto the jerk boxes. So that's something too, where you could perform, for example, in the CrossFit Football Total, the power clean, perform a power clean. And when you make the lift, you just maybe perform the power clean with the pads, right in front of your barbell. So you make the lift, and then you just step forward or sort of let the bar kind of move forward, I guess, to drop onto the mats and absorb it there. So there are some caveats to this. It's just a habit of just repetitive drops and repetitive sort of punishment that the facility and the equipment takes when it's sort of a free-for-all. So that said, we're doing this again. We did this recently. So as promised, I said within the next month or two, we were going to revisit the totals. So we have the CrossFit Football Total, the CrossFit Total, the other total. Now, before I said you were going to get the option if you were looking at one and thinking, I really want to do this one, but I also really want to do this one. I was saying that this was going to be presented as do a different one than you did the last time. I don't think that enough time has passed that we would see an immense increase, if any. So at least enough to yield another max out. But if you wanted another shot at it, if you feel like you didn't have your best showing and you did the football last time and you want to do the football again, it's there. It's a choice for a reason. But I would recommend, there's not a huge difference between the football and the CrossFit total other than no power clean and shoulder press instead of bench press. So if you did the football last time, maybe the other total. But again, you've got a squat clean instead of a power clean, and a bench press is still present. So really it's just the overhead squat. So either way, whichever total you want to choose, you're welcome to choose, but I would recommend knowing as many of those totals as possible. If nothing else, it should give you a little bit of extend a little bit of a reprieve maybe on the ones that you already did. So if, like I said, if you did the other total last time, and then you did the football total this time, maybe when you're doing the bench press in the football total, you don't have to rely so heavily on that number for your football total. You could, for all intents and purposes, use the number from the last time and then maybe get a little bit of a reprieve when you do the deadlift, back squat, and the power clean for the football total. Not saying that that's a good strategy, because if you want to know your football total, you should do the football total. Just saying, if you've already learned that number, maybe place the emphasis on the ones that you didn't learn the last time. So pick the one that you want to do, or redo the one that you did from last time, either as a mulligan, or maybe you just enjoyed it too much and you want to try it again and you feel like you've gotten a lot stronger. But that's your story time with Michael, and that's your workout for the day. I know it wasn't a lot about the workout, but just sort of giving a little bit of feedback on how you might be able to approach the drops and how we might be able to sort of find the common ground between, trying to take some I don't know, pride, I guess, but find some, take some ownership in our box, but also find the, have the ability to perform the workouts the way that we feel like we might need to in certain cases, like maybe we're going to drop a barbell here and there.